Hello, all. I am Jijo. I am going to talk to GP's mentee. I'm chipping in to do this interview. I'm very excited to speak to Mano Lasa, and I'm going to call you Mano. Is that should be fine with you? Is that okay?
Yes, totally. It should be fine.
All right. So first thing first, I think that you should give you a brief intro about who you are, so everybody knows
Okay.
who you are, and this makes sense to everyone.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Manu Lasa. I come from Hyderabad. I did my engineering in National Institute of Technology, Jalandhar, in Industrial and Production Engineering. And I've been working with Ashok Leyland as part of their service team for the past 3 years. So, that's a very short thing about me.
So what are your grades and all? You studied very hard in your school days?
In my school, up until 12th grade, I'd say I was above 95 percentile student continuously. In college, of course, I had to leverage between extracurriculars and academics. So I got a decent 7.7 CGPA.
So what 7.7 CGPA in your college is what? Good, awesome, decent, okay.
I was in the top 15 of my batch. So out of 80 students in my section. So yeah, it was a pretty decent score.
Alright. And you've been working for 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
When I applied for CAT, it was only 2 years, of course. But then, yeah, now it's been 3 years.
Right. So when you applied the CAT is 2 years, slightly about 2 years. Now you've finished those 3 years. So now Manolasa got calls from all IMs, ABCL, IK, not Shillong, I think.
Shillong too.
Also Shillong, CAP, FMS, everything you've got, and Manolasa converted all of them. You converted A, you converted B, you converted C, you converted L, you converted I, you converted K, you converted Shillong, you converted CAP, you converted FMS. So this is going to be one of the best interview according to me. I think I find very few people who can do this feat. So I'm going to do this interview. I'm going to do this interview in 2 rounds. First about your preparation, and really want to hear about your story about your interview preparation. So let's start with your prep. When did you start your CAT prep? How did that happen?
Okay, CAT prep. Completely truthfully speaking, I think by the end of July I had started. And not even end of July, it was almost August, because I remember talking to a friend of mine who's an IM Indore, and I had asked her, like, dude, I'm starting in August. Is this doable? And she said, even I started at the end of July. So it will happen. Koi na, you go ahead. So I started in August, I'll say. That is like truthfully speaking.
So what was it? I think that so if it started in August, MBA was not in the plan. How come suddenly from somewhere MBA as a thought happened?
No, MBA was a plan, definitely. So MBA was on my head, and initially I had thought about an MBA abroad because I already had a national level experience, is what I felt. NIT gave me a national level exposure, and I wanted an international level exposure. So I had been vying for MBA abroad, and ever since January 2020, I had it in my head that I'll appear for GMAT. So I was prepping for GMAT, and by prepping, I mean I just had the official guide and I was giving a few question and answers. I was answering a few of them. I was checking out where I was lagging, what I was doing. But of course, we all know March came and it was pandemic, and uh, it went for a toss. I mean, I did not know if I wanted to be in another country, or I did not know how the pandemic would turn out. Is this okay? Is this not okay? And as I also mentioned in my story, me and my brother would get to talking about our future. I mean, what to do, what is going to happen, and we had really lengthy conversations about, is MBA okay, or MBA abroad, or what about MBA here. And for some reason, my brother was very convinced about CAT being a very viable option in India, and given the pandemic situation. So he said, why not go for it? Just give it a trial, give it an attempt. And from the friend of mine, I got to know that career launchers mock tests were really close to the real CAT. So I remember I gave one mock test, the free one, that the 3 hour free one. So by that time, it wasn't even declared that it was only going to be for 2 hours. So the three one, when I gave it, the very first score itself, I think I got 149 out of 300. I thought it was a very bad score, and I thought, I was like, "अरे ऐसा तो हो गया, कुछ नहीं होना मेरे से, not gonna happen, nothing's gonna happen with me." And then I told the same to my brother, and he was like, "Dude, are you crazy? I mean, if you get 50% of the score, it means that you'll be in the top 5 percentile. So what is this that you don't even know this small thing?" So then he gave me the confidence that, okay, maybe this is doable. So I gave subsequent mocks and I checked my score. So the score was more or less 50% all the times. Even given the toughness of the paper, also it was good enough. So I thought, okay, so this is doable.
Okay.
Let me give it my best attempt.
Okay, so basically, this is a second person that another of GP's mentee that I was talking to. She was prepping for GRE, gave up and prep for CAT, and she started in September, and she cracked the CAT. Is joining Lucknow. You wanted to start with GMAT, and then for some reason you gave up, start the CAT, prep for the CAT. But I'm guessing. So did you take the GMAT eventually, or did you not take the GMAT?
I did not. I mean, no, I mean, it did not make any sense after a while.
Okay,
I thought, I mean, I did not see the situation getting better in that point of time.
I just want to ask one more thing. So, what does your brother do? Seems to be a person who has changed your life at least. So, what is it? The elder to you, I'm guessing.
He is 1 year older to me, so this is a very short gap that we have between the two of us. So he has done aeronautical engineering in Hyderabad, in an institute in Hyderabad, and he works in Tech Mahindra. So he is the person with a lot of career thought process, career progression, and he keeps thinking about different options. I think he was also one of the persons who picked it up. Like, I think you have a managerial caliber. I also do a managerial role. So it made me believe in myself that maybe MBA is actually the right path for me because it complements me.
But you cracked the
so
CAT. He didn't know.
yeah.
So that's
yeah, I think
I
now,
I don't want to create any rift in your family. I'm just saying what it is. Anyway,
yeah.
so I was reading what you said, and one thing was very surprising to me that you thought math was tough and your verbal was fine. What is the story there?
Okay. So, okay, I think the story has its roots in IIT JEE preparation and all. So, we all know how the JEE advanced preparation goes, and of course, I come from Hyderabad. So, maybe I'm trying to give into the stereotype here a little. Everyone aims for the mains and advanced, even though you have no clue what you want to do afterwards, like what after IIT or so. So I know that I prepared for it back then, and math was my A game more or less. But then still, I did not have that caliber or something. So it's as simple as that. So math, I can solve all the easier ones, but I always felt like CAT is also, it sets a higher standard of difficulty. And maybe those difficult questions, since I did not have that amount of practice, all the concepts, because I did not attend any classes or so. So I thought that would be hard for me to crack. But verbal, of course, verbal was my strong suit. I am into reading a lot, so I picked it up like anything. I mean, even GMAT also, verbal was very easy for me. So I just picked it up and I
So
started reading very fastly.
so when you interesting. So there's one more thing I want to ask, but before that, since you mentioned that verbal is your sound, so I read. So what is it? So how many books do you read in a year?
Okay, so I do not have a set so many books per year, but I can say that I have a book every day. Like every day, I'm reading something or the other. And I have made a list to myself of reading the 100 greatest books. So I think I've finished War and Peace, Crime and Punishment, Brothers Karamazov, and For Whom the Bell Toll. So these are all classic literature that I read, usually the books that no one usually goes for. And because the language is tough or it's a very dense subject or anything. So this I've been doing for a really long time now. I think ever since I was a kid almost.
So technically speaking, you were preparing for the CAT right from your childhood, in the sense, at
Yeah.
least for verbal.
Yeah. I mean, the day I saw my result, I think that's the first thing that came out of my head that, maybe this is something that I've been preparing for my entire life. So I got
Yeah.
a 99.5 percentile in VARC in the end. So, yeah.
So then the rule is that, so there are two things. One is, if you have any younger brother or sister, ask them to start having the habit of reading books. If you have 5 months, you cannot today start by saying that I'm going to read books
Yes.
today and become someone, but still make it a point probably to cut down on Netflix and read book, at least start a habit. I'm sure that this will help
Yes.
you somewhere in the life. So so one of the thing that I was reading a story, so I was having this feeling that you have this attitude of my prep my way. So I am not going to blindly join a course. I'm not going to blindly do things. I have sorted something out. I want to do it the way in which I want to do. Is that, have I captured your uh, essence in that one line?
Yes, completely. It definitely did.
So what was your way of prepping? Tell me some essence in terms of how do you went about, what was your preparation style? How many hours did you put in every single day? What is the effort that you put in? And let us know.
I think the first thing why I had opted for my preparation my way was because I understand that my scenario is not the same as maybe a lot of the others. I was a very key executive in my team. I was given a very big responsibility which I had to complete by the end of the year, and I knew that I can't betray there, so or leave my job at that for that matter. So I know that I can't betray there. So I know that I won't have the time for classes. I won't have the bandwidth for doing the things that people generally do. Like, people say that you have to read articles, you have to do that, you have to do this. I think I was not even in the space to research about what to do. So all I could do was just give the exam and just jot down where I was lagging and just focus on that, come up with my own strategy and just work around that. So for my preparation, so as I said, I was already crunched for time. But I do remember days where even on the weekdays, so weekdays, my office would run till 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. and it would be a tiring day. But then by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., I'd still be there with books in front of me. And sometimes I'd be solving topic tests. So I had set this out every Saturday, come what may, I'll give a mock test. I'll give a mock test from Career Launcher and I will just check out where I'm going wrong. I'll do the analysis. So every Saturday, the mock test was there. Now, on the weekdays, I was doing sectionals. I was doing places where I was very weak at. So, since I had VARC in my hand already, I made sure that I was not ignoring VARC. So, I would do mock tests and all. But for DILR and quant, I gave additional concentration. I gave some more care. DILR, after a while, of course, I got the hang of it. DILR after a couple weeks or so. So I thought, okay, then maybe I can get around. So I understood the strategy of how many to attempt at what time, how to choose it, and all of that. But quant though, but I'll tell you, until the very end, I was not at all confident. I mean, I kept feeling that, oh my God, what am I going to do for quant? So all I could tell to myself was maybe I just need to give it, like, I just need to I just need to strategize. I need to do that. I need to do this. But I knew that at the end of the day, I have no clue what I'm going to do for quant on the D day. But luckily, on the D day, what happened in my case was the moment DILR was done. So I remember mine was the slot 3 and DILR was the tougher one, is what everyone said. Later on, I got to know. So I did feel a little stumped that I did not solve 3 sets. I only solved 2 sets. And I made sure that the moment it broke after slot 2, I told to myself that it's okay. that is done. Now it's all QA. Now you have to just run through, you have to read quick, you have to choose quickly. And I remember that I looked at it as if there's only QA in my life, there's nothing else. So I just, on the D-Day, I did that. I remember I was literally, I think I was also tapping my foot very anxiously and eagerly. As if I was keeping account of each and every second, it felt like. So yeah, so quant, of course, no matter how much I did, I could not gain the confidence. Also, fun fact: no matter how many times I've practiced, not even a single quant I've ever crossed 90 percentile or so. I've never crossed any time in any mock 90 percentile. Of course, that does not mean that my final score was a fluke. No, no, that was not it. I knew that it was a really good strategy towards the end. What I did
So,
on the
so,
DA.
something that I've heard is your preparation. You were meant to me that you use the mock as a tool to figure out what needs to be done. You sat and put in that effort. Whether you're working, not working, you had dedicated time for all those people who are telling me I'm working so hard. I think we have Mona as an example, and then, but tell me something. Why? I mean, you probably at some point in time would have just said no. 90%. I'm not even touching 90%. Where I'm gonna go. Why didn't you give up?
Well, I remember since it was pandemic, I think I was home after 7 years or so. So I came back home and I was prepping from home. So every Saturday when I have seen percentiles or scores as low as 5 or 17 in QA, and
Five.
I'd come back.
One second.
Five or
One second.
17.
Five. Let me have 5 percentile in QA.
No, no, not
Okay.
percentile. Score. Five
Okay.
score.
Five score would be two question with one question, two questions solved, and five score. Five. One question is 3 marks. No, five.
Yeah.
Matlab, you are almost like NIT. Matlab, all the NIT engineers going chalo theek hai. So you say okay, fine. So you tell me you saw that score. So what happened? Why didn't you give up?
So when I'd see the score, I'd literally feel like crying, or because all the more I was feeling like maybe this is not my cup of tea or this is not me. And then I'd come up to my mom and I'll just tell her that I don't think I'm doing that well. I don't know what's happening. And then she'd just give me a small sentence that, see, this is just one of the ways. There are so many other ways. So you were just giving your attempt. Give your attempt. Let's see what will happen. Maybe next week it'll be a little better. It's fine. It's okay. So you just pacify me in just one or two sentences, and then just I'll relax a little, and then I'll get charged up again that okay, no, this is my path. This is what I want to do. So let me analyze where I'm going wrong. So I think all the analyzings have helped because now I know that now I'm good at QA. Like I know this comes 6 months after my examination, but now I'm definitely picked up in QA. Now if someone asks me like I was talking to a couple of my friends who are preparing now. So whenever they've asked me some questions, I'm like, you solve it like this, use that, use this formula. So now I feel like okay, I'm good in QA.
Yeah. So basically, first of all, for everyone, I have no role whatsoever in her success. Okay, so that is number one. Let's make it clear to everyone. I'm just interviewing her. That is point number one. Number two, from what I'm hearing, Mona, is that the people that played a very important role in your success story is your family members. So your mother, I've heard, your brother, though your brother forced you, the mother was a cushion for you. I think was there any mentors beyond these two? Is that did you have any other mentor during your preparation time? Did you have anyone to speak to, talk to about your
No.
strategy?
No, not while I was preparing. I think this was the biggest secret I've ever kept in my entire life. Like, quite frankly, none of my friends knew. None of the people I work with knew. And I don't know why I just wanted it that way because I thought, okay, maybe if I don't make it, then I don't know. I did not want a lot of people giving me their opinions and just saying that, Are nahi, don't do that, don't do this, do that. So I knew that I did not have the bandwidth to go for it. So I think my brother and my mom were the only people who knew I would get in cat. So my only family just knew that, no one else, not even any extended family, no one.
Well, what about your father?
No, he's no more. So he
Okay,
would be.
okay. So, so everybody in your family, the closest people knew. You have nobody else knew. It was a secret. So truly, Mona, truly, this was my prep, my way. And I think that I would actually seriously encourage that you can actually write if somebody has to prepare on their own, completely with them, then they have to trust themselves. Look at look at the mock test, have at least some support system to carry forward, and this is to me a great inspiration. I'm sure you would be right. And I think that if, that's something I want to say, right? It's very good. So okay, so Mona, now to the question that I want to ask. A converted, B converted, C converted, L converted, I converted, S converted, cap converted, and was it?
FMS.
I'm FMS converted. Sorry. Oh my God, you're like, you missed FMS. FMS converted. Okay, all converted. Now everybody knows you're converted every single call. So were you always this good in interviews? Like, are you a are you a did you this was Ashok Leyland the only company that it was the first company that you converted in the campus? Were you always like this?
Au contraire, no. On the contrary, no. I think Ashok Leyland was the or fifth company that I had interviewed, and that had taken me. So yeah, I mean, I think I've always been perceived as someone who was good with English, good with communication. So yeah, any interview, she'll just make it. But then the first time, I think even for my internship, I think I was interviewed, and I was one of the first amongst my entire college to get placed into an internship, and. Uh, the final placements though, I was completely sure I wanted a core placement, and so I did not apply for IT companies or anything. I was just vying for the core placements, and the core placements, somehow they were selecting only one person out of so many candidates, and I think I did not make it into Nestle. I did not make it into Whirlpool. So there were other things as well. But yeah, I think for the very first time, I remember. I think the interview that I do remember was Ashok Leyland's, because I had a proper conversation in Ashok Leyland, and they had taken me. So yeah, I think so.
So so so, so
There's no line that you can draw and say that okay, she's always good with interviews. Tick.
So did IM interview was conversation? Was it interrogation? What was it now? This I all your IM
It,
interviews.
all of my IIM interviews were conversational. I mean, it just went from one topic to another, from what I had said just previously before that, and not even a single interview. I mean, maybe Bangalore, I felt it was an interrogation, but then not really. If I really have to say, when I read others' experiences, no, it was not an interrogation. It was maybe a critical way of conversation where you're trying to negate what every person says, what the other person says. So all of them were conversations. So
So so
that's one thing.
so Mona, when I talk about what for people to have conversation, especially to interview setting and scenario, the conversation happens when the discussion does not break. And the reason why discussion
Yeah.
does not break, according to me, is because you know stuff to talk about. So if you start with one thing, then I can get into the second depth, third, fourth, fifth, which then tells me that I'm guessing, and this is my pure guess, is that you prepared really hard for the interview process. That is what
Oh,
I'm guessing.
definitely.
Huh? So what? How?
Definitely. I
Tell me.
think
Well,
CAT preparation was one side and interview preparation is completely other side, and both of them are, if you weigh them on scales, I think the interview preparation will be harder, because I think I was more nervous. I remember that only on the days of the interviews I was not nervous. Every other day I was nervous. Every other day I was anxious about what I'm going to do. So a little intro, even though I do read a lot, I do not indulge in current affairs because I feel current affairs are negative and they'll burst my positivity bubble. So I don't indulge in current affairs very much. And I think the very first thing was I did not know what to prepare for for an interview. And again, my mother and brother, they researched an entire. At the moment I got my calls from everywhere, they researched on everywhere, and they're like, Career Launcher is the best program. So I know we are aware of Career Launcher. I did my CAT preparation there anyway. And this is totally not marketing. Okay, this is exactly how thankful I felt that there was Career Launcher at that point of time, because I had two interviews, two mock interviews, one with GP sir and another with, okay, I forgot the name,
Shivku.
but another Shiv Kuswa. Yes, Shiv Kuswa. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I had two interviews, and I think in both of the interviews, I think GP sir reminded me that my work is not the only thing. I have done a lot of other stuff from in college or in schooling, and I have a lot to talk about. I have other angles as well. So while you're working, it's very easy to think that, okay, your work is your only thing to do, and you forget about other aspects of your life. And Shivku sir made me realize of the aspects that I had forgotten in my work. So he gave me tasks to read about the competition, about talking about actuals, and not just vaguely giving your answers. Because I think what even the Ahmedabad people had told was I had a business acumen. I mean, given a random scenario, if they asked me to strategize and think which is a better suited option, I have a clear thought process to give that because of my work gigs. But if they ask you what was your profit, what was your this, I did not have clear answers for that. So I think Shiv Kusar had slightly nudged me in that direction, and I had read all about that, and I was I thankful the day I had my Ahmedabad interview, because my Ahmedabad interview circulated completely on Ashok Leyland and CV Market, and I had really good knowledge about that on that day, because I remember the day before I was reading that 60-page AGM report amidst all the financials and everything. I'm like, give me strategy. Where is the strategy? Where are the important factors? So yeah, so that
So
was
you
my interview preparation.
so that's what I'm saying. So it's to me it's so easy to see someone and say that somebody convert the call. There has to be something people born with the skill set, which I don't think in your case that's the case, which is not with anyone. These are things that you gain through pure slogging. What I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many hours was your interview preparation? What daily? How many hours? Tell me, Ashok Lala was still there. No, you're still working.
Yeah, so but I think since it was, so all of my interviews were in March, and luckily I had met my target in January, so which I had to meet by March end. I met it in January, so I did
Okay.
not have any pressure from them to do anything. And of course, the moment they heard that I had calls from ABC, they extended their full support. The vice president of my company, he told me that whatever you need, service team will be there for you. If you need time, take time.
This is
So I
wonderful. I mean,
remember,
I think
yeah,
I think kudos to your bosses and other things. So
yeah,
the company they actually so you had a lot of lovely people around, Mona. This is
yeah,
wonderful. Your family, your colleagues. Anyways, carry on. So you had so
yeah.
what was
So
from January?
also my immediate reporting manager, who changed in October 2020, he was also an IMA graduate. So by Hinduja leadership program, somehow he just changed and he came to be my reporting manager, and it made my life so much more easier. I mean, the moment I had converted, I knew that I could talk to him. Of course, he was all like, A is A में ही जाना और कहीं मत जाना और किसके बारे में सोचना भी
Yeah,
मत.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was all,
Excellent. This is C. So C is the best, by the way. But just making a point. People say ABC ABC ABC. Bol bol ke A is number one. Okay. So it's just carry on, please.
yeah. So I mean, I was more like, okay, let me convert. I was like, okay, maybe I'll probably convert one out of the 6 or 7. Let me make a decision. I mean, I thought I'd never have a choice. So during March or February, so after I had met my targets, so they gave me enough bandwidth. So I knew that everyone around me was supporting me. So they tried to reduce my load as much as possible. And of course, since I'd completed my work, there were only manual works to be done. So I worked for 4 or 3 hours per day. But most of the other day I had spent in my preparation. I was going through GK classes, and I was listening to a few GK classes twice or thrice, and understanding economy, understanding concepts and basics of everything. I think I took all the GK classes very religiously, and I tried to. Of course, I couldn't fit in the time, so I watched the recorded sessions. So I'd keep doing all of that and then trying to figure out questions. And I think the biggest struggle I had was to come up with that essay, 2,500 word essay. And I felt like that was such a big chore, writing
This is a
2,400.
part of the CL program, right? Not the
Yes,
IIM interviews,
yes.
where somebody want before they talk to you, they want first to tell me your story. That is
Yes,
your company.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, the very first essay. I remember I had to submit my Bangalore SOP too, and I thought, no, let me write this 2,500 word essay. I'll get a clear view about myself, and then I'll submit the Bangalore essay. So I did that. I had an interview with GP sir, and then he gave me all the other pointers to write. Then I immediately wrote my 600 word Bangalore SOP, and then I had submitted that. And of course, what seemed like such a chore back then, now that it's only been a week since my college has started, and I've already written some 5,000 or 6,000 words already in
Oh, so you are a
different
student? No, you're
assignments.
already in college. Huh?
Yes, yes.
Ah, wonderful. So how is IMA treating you so far?
I can only laugh at it. I did not expect it. I mean, you hear it too many times, but you think maybe it won't be that hectic, it won't be that much. It's fine. But week zero, I remember, I think I just noticed that it was week zero on Monday, and it came out at the end of Saturday, and I was like, a week was done. What happened to my week? So the entire week just flew off. The induction week just flew right
Du-
out.
du- During my time, not now, my time when I took in IMC, there was no attendance. I had got BNC, Bangalore and Calcutta, and
Okay.
I'm Calcutta had 327 kids in 1997.
Oh my
326.
God.
That's like 2000 today, and Bangalore had some 100 or 120 kids. Logically, everybody was going to Bangalore. The only reason why I went to IIM Calcutta is because no attendance. It's something that I could not. So yeah. So when a lot of
We
people
have
say that,
100% attendance. I have no
when
clue how to even wrap my head around the 100% attendance.
a lot of people say that MBA is very hectic, MBA is very hectic. Deep down, I'm going. So this is
Wow.
so this was those were the IMC that people. So but yes, if people wanted it to be hectic, it was hectic. Those people, but people like me, it was not. Anyway, so digressing. This is not my story; it's your story, right? So the two things I'm hearing, Mona, is that one is throughout the preparation, you put a mind to it, you stuck to it, you work really hard. You did not let your office be a burden. In fact, eventually, office was a blessing. You converted your surrounding to not to be a burden, to be a blessing. You did not take your work lightly. You're telling me that something that you were supposed to finish by March, you finished by January. You gave your heart there as well. So I think what is telling me, Mona, simply is that your success is an outcome of the level of commitment, dedication, and the discipline that you have in whatever you do. And I'm very very sure, and I can say this with certainty that you will be very disciplined in the B school, and you will have a very wonderful career. And I'm sure that all of people who are watching this will be cheering you, and I'm sure that you'll be a great motivation to others. Is like seeing that getting five marks in quant engineer 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 who prepare for JE getting 5 marks in quant. He's curly here and sitting or catch here. So thank you so much. Huh?
Thank you, Gijo, for having me here. Thank you very much. And
Yeah,
thank you for the kind words as well. And of course, I mean, even though I don't try to, but I'm still marketing CL in a way that because I feel so thankful for having CL. Because if I had the dedication and if I had the discipline, they gave me direction as well, which was very important. I think with the mock test, with everything, they gave me ample time to practice, ample material to practice, and ample opportunity to also know myself in the sense that I know that they need not actively give me points, but they help me rediscover myself in this sense. So this has been one of the biggest blessings, I'll say. Blessing in disguise almost. So career launcher has
Wonderful.
been wonderful.